What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here with the 12th episode of my Formula 1 career mode here today in the Tour Rosso for the Belgian Grand Prix. As you can see, we have some developments that failed, and then also dry qualifying session, but wet race. So we just can't seem to get a clean run in weekends in a row without the weather. So that's a bit frustrating for us. Anyway, moving on, this is the qualifying lap, and no intros for this episode for qualifying, race and stuff like that, because for some reason the game audio just didn't work, and I don't have the game audio available to me to put in the video, so that's a bit disappointing. So we'll just have to go with the music in the background. Just going to put the F1 theme, I think. That's always lovely to listen to. So, anyway, no audio today, which is unfortunate. And this is the first qualifying lap in Q1, as you can see. Soft tyres, so haven't made that mistake. And decided to just show the full lap, might as well. And here we go. Got on the curb a little bit here on the exit, made a mistake. Cost us time, had a nice slide through the no-name corner, as now we're on the run down to Poulan, so that was unfortunate. That's cost us probably a good second, and that's not going to be enough to get us into Q2, so we're going to have to definitely go again. I need to get better at nailing the first lap in these qualifying sessions, so I don't waste a second set of tyres, or I'm not on the bubble and don't have to be under pressure to put in another good lap time, and I just keep doing it to myself, and it keeps costing us grid position. And because of the rain affected session in the race, I've decided to put a wet setup on the car with air in terms of aerodynamics and ride height and stuff like that. So we're prioritizing the race here over grid position, and on a track that's a power circuit with the Honda engine, which we've made a better engine, but just it's still not quite what the top guys are doing, so we're going to struggle to get into that next session, especially if we don't have the low drag setup that is required for the circuit because of the weather. That's going to affect the next session. As you can see, we do manage to somehow be ahead of Kubica, who is slow on this game, just like in real life. But now this is the last chance to get through to Q2. We're going to have to put in a blinding lap here to dramatically improve and get through to the next qualifying session. As you come through Eau Rouge, easy flat. Now on the run up the Camel Straight into Les Combes. It's a really nice section of corners. It's such an enjoyable track to drive. You can really flow the car. Hit that inside curve, hit that one there, back end stepped out a bit, missed that apex there, so we're already down on our first lap time to this point of the lap, but now we know this is where we made the mistake. We stay well away from that curb this time, use the curb there, use all the road as possible. We're gaining time, but not enough, and when you really need to nail this part of the track, miss that apex there, run wide. That's going to cost us a lot of momentum down to the next corner. That's really unfortunate, and like I said, just not nailing these laps under pressure in qualifying, it's really costing us grid position. Got to try and not touch that curb too much on the inside. It really unsettles the car. Now we've got to maximise the exit here, using all the road. Yep, just touching that outside curb. Now it's down to the car really to what we can do on the run. We're 6/10 up, but it's just not enough at this stage. We need something through the bus stop chicane to get us through to Q2, braking as late as we dare, getting it nice and turned in, just going a little bit too deep though into the left-hander, get a poor exit, compromises our run to the line, and that is 18th position for the Belgian Grand Prix. Another disappointing result in qualifying. Was better last time out in Hungary, but just continually disappointing in qualifying. We'll move on to the race and just hope for better results, as yeah, it's really disappointing. Our team at Albon managed to get through to Q2, but both of the Hasses, the Williams cars and ourselves, not through to Q2, so work to do in the race, a wet race, anything can happen. So yeah, that's really disappointing to see that. So we'll move on to the race now. Wet one, we will be starting on the intermediate tyre. You can see Vettel got a tight lead in the championship here, and Ferrari leading the constructors as well. They will hope to maintain that lead. But now moving on to the grid for the race. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas have locked out the front row, with Vettel, the championship leader, taking third, Verstappen fourth. He's going to be quick in these conditions. Gasly fifth, Leclerc sixth, Weber seventh, Perez, Raikkonen, and Hülkenberg, that's 10. Lando just outside the top 10, Ricciardo in 12th. Butler in 14th place, he could be on for a good result. We've moved up to 17th because our team at Albon has had to take a new component of some sort. He's got a penalty. It could have to do with his retirement at Silverstone, being down on parts and having to change one out early. So that's unfortunate for him. Looking at the plan of the race, we're starting on intermediates. There's going to be potential for the race to turn dry weather towards the end, so we could see dry weather. It is right now a one-stop. Intermediates wear out quickly enough, so it's not going to be... It's going to be a definite one-stop anyway. Here we go, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. Tentative start, not bad. We're not right up into the back of the Haas cars, but we managed to find the gap down the inside. There was plenty of room there, and we passed both the Haas cars. We're now alongside Devon Butler for 14th. Tricky to get the power down on the exit. Magnussen comes back past around the outside, and we slot in front of Russell in 16th place. So we're getting two positions into the first corner, and we, oh my god, almost throw it in the wall on the first lap. Eau Rouge is so tricky in the rain. It's not a corner in the dry, but in the rain it's definitely a corner. As now we're going to have to settle in to find a rhythm as we go deep under the brakes and go past Magnussen almost accidentally and almost get past Butler, but he closes the door there. The AI really close the door this year if you're not fully alongside them. So that's caught me out so many times, breaking my front wing, and yeah, it's really good to see though that they don't just they're not a pushover like they used to be in previous games. It's good to see that they've made that improvement to aggression into their driving styles, which you like to see. It would be good to see more dive bombs, like of them going past into a deep braking zone, maybe overshooting the corner, you get back past them. That's probably the next element, I'd say. But defending wise, I think they've perfected the art of the AI defending. So that's just my quick thought on the game anyway. Back to the action here on the first lap. Really tricky, just trying to see what the limits of the car are in these conditions, and just feeling out how much quicker we are compared to our rivals around us, as we have a nice slide out of the right-hander there, the fast right-hander. That's normally flat in the dry, not flat in the wet, as most of these corners are. Same as Blanchimont, we had to have a slight lift, but as I felt like as I went through the race, in Blanchimont became a flat corner as the tyres got a bit more temperature into them, and same as not Eau Rouge in terms of flat, but just had more grip. Anyway, moving to the start of the second lap, the field is still tightly bunched. Hamilton leads for now, as now we move through, and let's hopefully get a good run onto the main straight, the Camel Straight. But can we nail Eau Rouge properly? The back end stepping out down to 7th gear, just to have a bit more acceleration. But now towards the end of the second lap, we're dropping back from Butler. Made a mistake, got onto the curb, lost the back end. Magnussen's not going to take it lying down. He's going to take the opportunity. He's through. Kevin Magnussen up into P16. We're down to 17th. But now we've got the slipstream overtake mode on the ERS. Albon looks like he's battling Russell quite hard. So we go back down the inside of Magnussen. And it's actually Grosjean behind battling Russell. My apologies there. And around the outside, can we make it stick? Vettel's setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as the top 6 break away from the rest of the pack. We managed to sneak back past Kevin Magnussen for P15, and hopefully we can just settle into a bit of a rhythm, just struggling to find that rhythm at the minute in the early stages of this Grand Prix as we overshoot a little bit into turn 1. Hopefully it doesn't cost us down the main straight. Anyway, moving on to lap 5 now as we go a bit wide through Eau Rouge there at the top of Radion. We've sort of started to catch up back to the pack. We've sort of pulled away from Magnussen in the last couple of laps. And now here goes Devon Butler down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. The Renault's once again struggling as one of the worst cars on this grid. There's contact between the two. Ricciardo loses it. We just avoid him. We get past. And Ricciardo has dropped to 14th. I think he's managed to hold on. So hairy stuff there for Ricciardo. Now lap 7 and Butler has caught up to the back of Hulkenberg and Lance Stroll, who seems to be struggling. And we have tagged along with Butler, so we've finally found our rhythm around this circuit in the rain. Looking around the outside. Can we drive all the way around the outside? No, not possible. We're going to maybe cut back underneath. No, that's not possible. So we're going to have to just follow. Looks like it. We get onto the power. And just, yeah. Anyway, no moves for now as we move on to lap 8 as the rain was starting to get heavier, so Hulkenberg and a whole range of drivers have pulled into the pit lane. Stroll, Butler, myself have stayed out on the intermediate tyre because there was this period where the rain was getting heavier. As now you can see, we've moved up to 8th place here, but it was still manageable in the intermediate, so we weren't losing that much time, maybe a second and a half a lap. It wasn't worth losing that 20 seconds to put on wet tyres when the light rain was going to come back in a couple laps. And lap 11, it's halfway through the race anyway, ignore that. Lewis Hamilton here in 7th place, absolutely struggling. I don't know if it's tyres, grip, damage, but Stroll's past him, Butler's past him, and now we are potentially looking to get past him on the run to Pouhon, but no, not with that Mercedes powered engine. He's able to pull away, but now we get a much faster run through here, so he's definitely struggling. Something is wrong with Lewis Hamilton's car. He was leading this race earlier. He was the pole position man, but now looks like he's struggling. But back to my point I was trying to make before, while we look to make a way past Hamilton, maybe into this corner. No, not close enough. Not going to risk the front wing. It's lap 11, halfway through the race, so we're going to come back into the pits, and knowing that light rain is coming on the way, we're going to put the intermediate tyres back on the car to get us through to the end of the race, hopefully, or maybe to dry tyres if that ever comes. We're not sure yet how this weather is going to change, but anyway, as you can see, Leclerc is behind us on that full wet tyre, but we're going to dive down the inside of Hamilton. We're also going into the pit lane, so we don't want to overshoot the corner too much. Stroll stays out, Butler comes in, so Lance Stroll goes around again. There's a Red Bull in front that's in, the Vettel also in, knowing that Leclerc is behind. I believe that could be Verstappen that's in, but one of the Red Bulls is also out. Bottas is also out at the front. Lewis Hamilton also deciding to stay out, so different strategies for different drivers in this Grand Prix. Really interesting to see what's going on. I saw that the Racing Point mechanics were getting ready, so I think a lot of the runners that stopped on full wets are coming back in for the intermediate tyre, because that was just the quicker tyre in these conditions. So we are out of the pit lane in 9th place, so points are looking really promising in this race. We're chasing Butler now. This is towards the end of our first lap on intermediate tyres. Our teammate now, Albon, coming into the pit lane, so he's made a good call. He's coming in for his set of intermediate tyres, as is Lance Stroll. Now, has the undercut worked? Both of us were behind Lance Stroll before the pit stops. We were just behind him. He's in the pit lane now. He's coming out, but you know, with Spa, he's got a shorter run to that point of time as he comes around the pit lane exit. We're coming through turn 1. There's Butler, there's Stroll. He's coming out the pit lane, and we are through on Lance Stroll. So Devon Butler and I are able to perfect the undercut on Lance Stroll. Are we able to maintain? He's going to have a good slipstream. He's right behind us. He's going to have a good run down to the Camel Straight and the Lee Com corner, but not close enough. And we're actually in overtake mode. Got such a really nice slipstream on Devon Butler almost, and that's promising. So even though we got a bit of high aero, we've still got good slipstream to affect on this car. When I say high aero, we're running a 5.7 aerodynamics, so it's not too dramatic, but for this track, it normally you like to run a bit lower. Anyway, next lap, we've got a great run through our Rouge now, and we're all over the back of Devon Butler. And we are going to go to, he's going to go to the inside, we go to the outside. Can we make it stick around the outside? Butler's deeper on the brakes, but we're braver into the corner. We have that extra speed around the outside, and we managed to make the move stick. So next up, we are now 4th place. Gasly is next. It is now lap 15 of this Grand Prix. We run a little bit wide into turn 1, but that's alright. Getting on to the power now. Just a big slide on the rear tyres. That's going to give Butler the opportunity he needs to get back past. He's going to do it. We almost tried to cut him off, but he was already through. And side by side through our Rouge in the wet. Brave move from Devon Butler to go around the outside. Got to give him his credit where it's due. That was a brilliant move, but now we're in a slipstream. This time we're going to go for the inside line down to Lacombe, and we are going to make that move stick. So brilliant racing between the two former F2 rivals and still current Formula 1 rivals. Just absolutely brilliant action. It was really enjoyable. But then after that, we were able to pull away from Devon Butler. And you can say Daniel Ricciardo is out of the Grand Prix. But you can also see that the rain has stopped. So now you got to think, we're in 4th place. We're great, that's 12 points. I was constantly asking the engineer, obviously you can't hear it, about the tyre situation. He was saying that Inter's for now still the best tyre. Dry tyres weren't that, they wouldn't be that optimal for the conditions, so stayed out another lap. That was fine, probably the right call, but it was very borderline. If you went on dry tyres, probably wouldn't have been a bad decision on that lap. But anyway, as we come around to the next lap, lap 20, there's 2.5 laps to go, and the DRS is enabled. As soon as I saw that, I immediately called for the decision to come into the pits. You see where Gasly is on the map. He's just coming through the Blanchimont area now, and I thought to myself, do I want to finish 4th or try and get a podium? 2 laps around Spa, it's a lot of time. It's with the AO running at Vettel was setting the fastest lap at this stage at 1 minute 58, so that's 4 minutes to try and catch the time back up. If we can do 1 minute 40s, we can do that if you think about it. But you're going to have to be quite brave on the dry tyre. So I've made a decision to come in, and I thought I could, if I don't get Gasly, I definitely think I can beat Stroll, who will be on intermediates. Dry tyres will be the better tyres. I'm the only one that comes in for the dry tyres, so it's my call here for dries. I'm going to put on the ultra soft, not the ultra soft, the softest tyre. I don't know what C it is, but the soft tyre. And we'll see what we go. Albon streams past us in 9th place, into 8th place for Alex Albon. So points are definitely on for the team. We're going to come out of the pit lane in 12th place, 11th. It just depends on who gets past us on the exit here. That's Magnussen passed. And immediately we are on the attack. 2 laps to go. We've gone from 4th to 12th. So we're going to have to get past Magnussen quite easily. Just a lot more grip on the soft tyres immediately. And straight past Magnussen out of Eau Rouge, and that was flat. We weren't doing it flat on the intermediates, we were doing it flat as soon as I got onto the soft tyre. Braked us deep, probably too deep. Showed too much confidence braking where you'd brake in qualifying for that corner. As now we're coming up anyway, little mistake, that's cost us a little bit of time. We're coming up to the back of Perez and Hamilton here. Hamilton, for whatever reason, just absolutely struggling in this Grand Prix, has no grip, damaged car. I'm not sure what's happened to Lewis Hamilton. Was looking all too promising for him, but now we are looking to get past Sergio Perez, and I thought we were going to get past into this corner, and he's pulled away, and then I dived in, hit him a little bit of damage, but it's okay, we'll just keep going. We're still going to have the advantage in these conditions with this car, and this tyre advantage. Vettel sets a 57.9, so that is now the fastest lap of the race, so we know we can get the fastest lap as well. We'll finish in the top 10 as we're already 10th, as we dive it down the inside of Lewis Hamilton here, as easy as you like, in these with the tyre advantage, almost losing it on the curb, unbelievable. And now foot to the floor, and hopefully we can make up the time to get back to where we were, which was 4th place. So Albon, at this stage I was thinking I've made the wrong decision here, but then you see the guys, they are at the chicane, and Max Verstappen has actually overtaken them, who he's on the intermediate tyre is Verstappen. He was back in the pack, and he's finally made his way through. So Leclerc's in that little battle pack as well as we come through, and I knew I was going to set the fastest lap, but we're coming into turn 1, we're catching at a rate of knots here up to Alex Albon. But we are not close enough to make a move into Lacombe at this stage because we're not in his DRS, so that's not good. But we know we're going to have a huge advantage in the middle sector. That's where the advantage is going to come. If there is one thing about this track, you're not going to have too much advantage down this straight and down through Blanchimont area if it's flat, but through this area we know we've got a huge advantage. The yellow flag's behind, so that's interesting. I went for the move anyway. I forced my way past here on my teammate, just was not taking it the chance. We needed to make as much ground up as we could, and next up was Butler for 6th place, so we're into 7th, and he's going very slowly, has no grip on a drying track on the wrong tyre, so we're going to fly through Pouon here, much better than what we did on our qualifying lap. Ran it a bit wide, that's due to the lack of downforce we have, but anyway, we're going to come through here. We have so much more speed. Accidentally misjudged it, break off a little bit more front wing. Vettel sets the fastest lap, wins the Belgian Grand Prix. So Vettel once again victorious at Spa, as we now up to Lance Stroll to P5, and yes, we are through for P5. So we're back into 5th place. We're ahead of Lance Stroll. What we didn't count on is Verstappen having a bit more pace than these guys, and he's pulled away. So looks like 5th is the best we're going to do with the fastest lap of the race. So Vettel wins the Grand Prix. We are going to come home with Bottas 2nd. Gasly gets a podium in 3rd. Verstappen 4th. We come home to finish 5th. So 5th place for the Belgian Grand Prix. Fastest lap. Make what you want of the decision. We lost 1 point at the end of the day. It was either podium or 4th place or 5th place. So it is what it is. Lose 1 point. Not the end of the world. We had to go for it. But yeah, that's been the Belgian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel with a very important win for his championship sake, especially with Leclerc struggling in this race and not having the best of time up predicting the weather conditions and how it was all going to play out, and he wasn't able to climb back up such as was the likes of a Max Verstappen. So yeah, great race, action packed, had everything, had rain, drama, and it was really exciting to drive at the time. I didn't know where I was going to finish when I exited the pit lane in 13th, and I thought, geez, maybe I've made the wrong choice here. But you know what, to get back to 5th with the fastest lap, which is an extra point, it's not the worst result. Could have been worse, could have not caught up to anybody. So yeah, that's the Grand Prix. And our teammate Albon manages to finish 4th, so points for us today. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 10th as well, so he just gets 1 point. Leclerc 9th, 2 points. So Vettel's lead in the Drivers' Championship extends, but so Albon scores his first points of the season. Lance Stroll gets a great result for Racing Point after Perez had been putting in all the good performances for them. Devin Butler gets some good points as well for McLaren. So yeah, just a really enjoyable race. And unfortunately for Daniel Ricciardo, he did not finish, retired, the only retirement driver. Roman Grosjean had a terrible race, losing to Robert Kubica. So did George Russell. So Kubica had the one-stop strategy. Just depended which way some of the AI went, if they wanted wet tyres or if they wanted intermediate tyres, and obviously the intermediate tyre, the one-stop choice was the way to go. This is as you see, we now move up to 8th in the driver's standings with 33 points. We are not best of the rest though. That Perez has really put in some good performances this year, and he still holds on to that. Vettel extends his lead in the championship. Ferrari extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship. So that is all very exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed that race today. It was really enjoyable from my point of view. Now, going into the Italian Grand Prix, we had those 2 bits fail, the 2 aero bits. We're going to get those for the Italian Grand Prix, and then with the extra resource points, we not going to get this engine component for Monza. So I don't decide to go and upgrade that because I'm not going to need it for Singapore. Plus, we also got a memo from Carl saying, I think I got it. I'm not sure if we got it this before this race or before the Italian Grand Prix after I simulate through to say that engine regulations could be updated at this stage. But anyway, we decided to upgrade here on the chassis because we're going to get this component for Italy, and they said it was a low chance or low risk of failing, so you just got to hope it doesn't fail, and that's what I ended up deciding to do, get the chassis onto the car. And I can confirm that all three bits, this bit did not fail, and these two bits obviously won't fail because they've already failed once. So we will have the 3 new upgrades for the Italian Grand Prix, so the car will be looking quick, hopefully much quicker into the next race. Hopefully that jumps us ahead of McLaren and Racing Point, maybe just get us a bit closer, and should jump us ahead of Alfa Romeo and Haas, who jumped us into this Grand Prix. So major upgrade, it's pretty much a major upgrade coming for the Italian Grand Prix, which hopefully we don't struggle around too much due to the lack of engine power. But we have developed the engine this year, so hopefully it won't be too much of a concern in losing the lap time down the straights. And I can also confirm that I've checked the weather for the Italian Grand Prix, both qualifying and race day, all dry conditions for the first time in probably since I did the Canadian video, or I'm not sure about my Austrian French videos or French races, if they were wet or not. I can't remember doing those, to be honest. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but we do have, looking at the engine wear as well, just it looks like we should be good to go on that front, replacing a few bits to have a bit of a fresher engine for Monza. So yeah, that's been today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one. I hope to see you guys for the next race in Monza, and until then, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.